Yeah, good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we learned about working with links. Have you tried that exercise I given? Have you tried the design I asked you to do? Successfully done. I asked you to practice one exercise. Design one inter-document navigation. Right? How many of you done successfully? Created only few. uh, So usually, if you don't practice, then your problem, right? Why? Because so these are not the concepts that you listen and just go. So these days, generally, what they do in interviews is because everybody learns Java, everybody learns .NET. Then for whom they will give first priority, who can crack the questions and who can design better. If you are good in designing, if you are good in problem solving and not good in designing, another person is good in problem solving and designing, then they will give first priority to him, right? Only problem solving is not enough. You need to learn designing, right? That means people who have both good knowledge of problem solving and designing, they are given first priority. So problem solving and designing, you must be perfect with practical approach. So you practice this. So generally, when you can design good user interface, then you can create good designs for real world applications. So once we know about the inter-document links, today we will see how you can work with tables in HTML. How we can deal with tables. Last session we learned about all the concept is about what? Links. What topics we discussed about links is links are two types, intra-document and inter. Intra-document means navigation from one location to another within the page. Inter-document, navigation from one page to another page or another URL or another application. Yesterday we saw a few applications. What are those? Mail, Skype, and phone applications. How we can invoke those applications. And we learned some techniques. How to open link target in new tab. How to open link target in new window. How to open link target in the same tab, same window along with other content. Yesterday we used the concept of iframes. Have you tried that iframe? So how to embed YouTube videos, how to embed presentations, you need to try them. Right? Once we know that, now next one more important in HTML is tables. Generally, tables are used to arrange content into rows and columns. Tables are used to arrange content into rows and columns. Actually, HTML up to HTML4, tables were used for designing layout of page. From HTML5, tables are used for designing, we call it as data grids, for designing data grid. Generally, up to HTML4, tables were used for designing complete layout Layout means header, footer, section, like that. Because in HTML4, we don't have header, section, main like areas. Those elements are not there in HTML4. Then in HTML4, we used to design everything by using table. But tables are not SEO friendly. They are not search engine friendly. That's the reason from HTML5, we started using semantics. Semantics like aside, article, main, and all. And HTML5 onwards, we are using tables only for designing grids. Tables are used for creating grids. Data grids are nothing but you can display data in a tabular form so that user can filter, sort, search, edit, insert, update, delete, and all. Everywhere you will find this. Data grids are very popular in the modern websites. For example, you are using a bank application and you want the last few transactions. Then how the bank application shows all the last few transactions. It will show in a tabular form. That means in the table, it will mention date. It will mention what purpose and what amount you have drawn from where, everything. So tables are used for designing grids. Grid is nothing but it arranges the data in rows and columns so that we can filter, sort, insert, update, delete. We can perform all types of CRUD operations on these data grids. Data grids are very popular and tables are good for designing data grids. I will show how data grids looks like. Suppose I will show one example. This is a website. This is Telerik. Telerik is a website. Modern UI made easy. Several companies use this Telerik. Why they use this Telerik? Because you have learned Java, .NET or PHP or Python, some technology. Suppose you are learning some technology like Java. Do you know how to write a program to generate barcode? In Java, do you know how to write a program to generate a barcode or QR code? No. Then how you will build an application for modern generation? Because in modern generation, you created a ticket, a QR code should come. Right? Suppose you are designing a shopping website or some products, every product have a barcode. So now the question here is, if you cannot do that, then how you will build projects? Because your project is related to business. You are designing a movie ticket booking website. You are designing a bus ticket booking website. You are designing a shopping website. QR codes are common. Barcodes are common. And if you say, I will use Java or .NET for this, then the question is, how you will generate a barcode? How you will generate a QR code? Do you know how to write programs for reading barcode and QR codes? Now, then if you ask this question to Java people, then what is the answer you will hear from them is, they say that in Java, we don't directly have anything. We will depend on third-party libraries. That means Java people, .NET people, they use third-party libraries. By using those libraries, they can create barcodes. They can generate captchas. You know captchas, right? They can generate captchas. They can generate QR codes. In a majority of high-level interviews in MNCs, they ask this question, like, you learned Java. So you learned how to get data from database and you can show the data in a screen. Now, can you write a program to convert this data into PDF form? That is mandatory because these days we create one ticket We create one bank statement and it is exported into which format? PDF. For that, we need to write logic. And these people like Telerik, they provide several third parties. That means they will provide some libraries. Your companies will purchase those libraries. You see, the Telerik, these are the customers of Telerik. NASA is customer of Telerik. Microsoft is customer of Telerik. Visa, Fox, Samsung, IBM is customer of Telerik. IBM, Microsoft, these people itself software development companies. They have genius software developers in their companies. And they are purchasing libraries from these people. That means they don't want their developers to waste time. They want their developers to design faster because they have time bound. By 1 year, they have to build an application. That is the contract they have with client. They can't waste time. They cannot ask their developers to build everything. They ask their developers to get the library and use the library. If library is free, you can easily use. If not free, tell your company that this is good library. That company will purchase it and they will use it. Do you know this is, you can imagine NASA is using, IBM is using, means you can imagine its abilities. And you see pricing, this is not cheap, very costly. You can see per developer $1,200. That means for one developer, if they have to give access to this library, they need to pay $1,200. Even if it is very costly, companies purchase and use it. Why they purchase and use it? Because they can do the work in a faster way. And see here, we will go to demos. They will give you various samples. You see, they are giving jQuery, Angular, React, Vue, ASP.NET, JSP. So they are giving PHP, Silverlight, so many technologies. Suppose you belong to Java and you are building application using JSP and you see JSP demos. When we go to the demos, they will give you so many components. You can see these are all the components for JSP. In that you will find captchas, you will find barcodes, you can find QR codes. You see barcode, QR code. And they will give a library, free library. Not free, it is paid. And you pay money, they will give a library, you download and you write for your project. That's what real-time projects do. Because your Java, .NET, PHP, all these technologies don't have everything what a client needs. They have some gaps. That means your technologies are not capable of doing everything what client wants. They have some gaps. And those gaps are filled by these third parties. And important, observe carefully why I am explaining all this, because in this you see they given some highlights. In the highlights you can see the first one is grid. In the highlights the first one is grid. Why it is in first place? There are so many components. Then why grid is in first place? Because out of 190 times you need this grid in a project. In a project, we need to present lot of data using grids only. That means in a project, 90% of presentation happens using grids. These are very popular for any technology, whether it may be Java, .NET, any technology, these grids are popular. And you can see, I will click on here. You can see they will give you some JSP grid. JSP is Java server pages, right? And you see they are giving some grid design. In this grid, you can filter, you can sort, you can search. There are so many filtering options. Actually, if you are a learner of any technology like Java, .NET and all, they will give you this screen design and they will ask you to create this. They will ask you to create one grid which can filter, which can sort, which can search the data. Right? So creating such grids, if you can do, that means you are perfect in your technology. That means a software company needs a person as Java developer or .NET developer or PHP or Python developer only if he knows how to design such grids. Do you know in this grid, all operations will perform. Generally, we call those operations. I hope you heard about in software technology, we call CRUD operations. Am I right? CRUD operation means what? Create, read, update, and delete. These are the operations. So in any technology, software developer is tested on this. When you go to a practical test, means you are qualified in first round, second round. Final test will be a practical test. In practical test, whether you are Java, .NET, PHP, any developer, they give this task, CRUD operation task. That means they will say that we have some REST APIs, get the data from them and create a grid so that from there we can insert, update, delete and perform all operations. So these kind of tasks are given in companies for you. And here Java will teach you how to perform these operations, but Java will not teach you how to present. The presentation that you are learning from HTML. HTML teaches you how to present. Java teaches you how to interact. The presentation happens using HTML. And for that, one of the main concept required is what? We need a table. So tables are used for designing primarily what? Data grids. Actually, data grid allows to handle CRUD operations on data. So where C is like create, read, update, and delete. HTML table can create an UI for grid. It can create an UI for grid, but it cannot do these operations. These operations are done using with your technologies. So what HTML can do, it can create a table, so which represents a grid. So HTML table can create a UI for grid, user interface for grid. And HTML table elements, we have so many table elements. Table elements are, we have a table, T, we have a caption, T head, T body, T foot, and TR, TH, and TD, and call group. These are all the elements used for designing a table. In HTML, to create a table, you need these elements. Table, caption, table header, table body, table footer. And you have a table row with the heading cell and normal table data. So that is, these are all the elements. Actually, HTML old version tables don't have caption, head, body, footer sections. They have simply just table, row, and cells. But now table contains some new elements so that we can design in a more better way. Let's see how to create a table. What are these options actually? Generally, I will show a simple rough representation here. Suppose this is a table and this is having some description like this is like products table. Actually, this is considered as this is the table and this is the caption for table. That is the caption for table. That means this is table caption. Usually caption for table comes outside table. When you write a caption, it will keep outside, and this caption is used for SEO, so that search engines can find your table by this name. So table can have a caption. In table, we can have three sections. One is head section, another one body section, another one footer. This is actually T head. This is actually T body, and this is what T foot. Three sections will be there. Head, body, and footer sections will be there in a table. And in every section, you will have rows. In every section, you will have rows. In every section, you can have rows like this. In every section, there can be rows like this. These are the rows we can have in every section. These are defined by using TR. TR is used for them. That means every section will have rows, and this is the TR. Table row. Now in the row, you can have cells. In the row, you can have cells like this. Row contains cells. These cells are defined by using TH, or they are defined by using TD. Both are cells only, but TH will be heading cell. Heading cell means, headings have a separate appearance like bold, center alignment, font style different. This is ordinary cell, this is heading cell. TH is heading and TD is ordinary. You have a column group. Column group is nothing but it can group 2 or 3 columns together so that we can apply some style for it. Some colors, some effects we can apply. This is actually considered as a column group. We call it as column group. Let's see, once we design, we can understand this, right? Let's see. Remember, these are just table related elements. Table have a lot of attributes. Attributes also we will see. Table elements are this. Let's see how to design. So the table elements we are having. Let's create one page. And I will add the page as tables.html. And here we are defining a page. And let's say we are creating some products table. We have a table element. That is the table start and end. Every table will have a caption. For caption, I am giving here products table. And in the table, there will be 3 sections. What is it? T head is one section. T body is another section. T foot is another section. We have 3 sections. So every table have 3 major sections. In every section, we have a row, TR, row. In every row, you have cells. Cells are defined using TH. TH means heading cell. Suppose I given some name. TD, it is ordinary cell. Suppose I said price. Some TD, this is some stock, like that. You can have ordinary cells, you can have heading cells. I will show you the difference here. Temporarily, you see this is the table, how it is going to display on browser. Table don't have any attributes as of now. We will put some attributes. Attributes is nothing but later we will detailedly discuss all. First, I am giving width. Width is some 500 pixel. That is the table width. And temporarily, I am just giving border as 1. And you see table is like this. Caption is above the table. And in the heading, first cell looks like heading, others are not like heading. Then usually what is the best one for them is TH. TH you give, they will display like heading. So that is the row. After that, now you scroll down here in the table body. Now we need 3 cells, one for name, another for price, another for stock. So I am giving here first cell TR row. That means in the table body, first row, in that first cell, suppose we have some Realme. And in the second cell, we have its price. So we are having its price. So ampersand hash 8377 semicolon. That is a rupee symbol. And after that, we have stock. Stock is available. Like this we define. Now you can see that is the first row inside it. And it will display the data like this. In a table cell, you can keep anything you want. It is just an empty container like div. You can put image, you can put links, you can put any kind of content you want. For example, see here, I am adding one more cell in the heading, preview. That means there is one more preview. And the last cell in the row, it will have an image. Here we can put an image. Image source, it is in where? Images. In images, some realme.jpg. I have width, some 200 and height as 200. And you can see some images here. In a table, you can keep anything you want. Suppose I just given 50, 50, then it will display in this way. A table can contain any kind of information inside cell. Inside cell, you can create another table also. So we are just adding a table with some data. How to add multiple rows? Just we are adding another row, TR. And we are adding TD. This is first cell, this is second cell, this is third cell, and this is fourth. Suppose I defined some baby products, something, and we are having some price, some 500 to 1000 something. So ampersand hash 8377 semicolon. So ampersand hash 8377 semicolon. And this is available. So, and here we are defining some image, adding an image source in images a1.jpg. a1.jpg and width is 50 and height is 50. And you can see some image will be here. So we already collected those images earlier for designing Amazon code that's we are using here. Now these are the data that we are displaying. Later, when you start working with this in your Java.NET, you will add functionalities here. Functionalities means in the price place, you put a drop down. User can select price range. You put a button beside it, like edit, delete, like options. Like you put like add to shopping cart. So these all functionalities you will give later using, even in JavaScript, I will show you. By using JavaScript, we can design front-end such interactions. We will see how to work with real-time data and work in JavaScript. Their presentation is important. And for presentation, we are having these details. And see now, this is header body. In footer, I am creating a row in that cell. This first cell is empty, ampersand NBSP semicolon. That is empty. Second cell, I am using @copy and copyright, something like this, copyright. And another cell is empty. This is Amazon, and last cell is empty. Later, I will tell you how to merge the cells. That is a next concept. As of now, we designed like this. This is the footer part here. Later, you will learn how to merge the cells and keep it as one cell. For that, we need to learn some attributes. But this is the basic design we are having. And observe, in this, we used all of them. Table, caption, T-head, T-body, T-foot, TR, TH, and TD. But this call group is not there. Actually, that call group will not work directly. We need some styles. Temporarily see, I'm giving here call group, inside table call group. How many columns to group? You have to write span. Span, suppose 3. Now you will not see any difference there. You will not see any difference because that requires some extra styles. Suppose I am writing style, background color as yellow, then you will see it will display like that. That means I will give call group span as 2, then it will display 2 columns. Span as 1, then it will display 1 column. Usually when we are displaying tables, we have up to last column 1 color so that it is total or something. First column some headings or something. To highlight them, we use this call group, right? But later you will see without style also call group can come. For that we need to add some attributes. I will show you. Currently how many columns we are spanning? 3. You will not see that anything here as of now. But when it will come, you will see that. So this is a simple table. And in this table, at the top, you have caption. After that, table start and end. In the table, 3 sections are there: head, body, and footer. In every section, you cannot keep content directly. In every section, if you want to keep any content, first you should keep a row. In that row, you need to keep a cell. That is order. You cannot directly keep any content in table. It must be in a row, in a cell. That means what is the order for table? Here syntax I will give you. Usually the order we have table. In that we have T head. In that we have TR row. In that you have TH. Some name. That is the order. And T head close. Then you have a T body, table body. In that again a row. In that you have a cell, some name, and T body, and close the table. This is basic hierarchy I given. So in a table, we have group, and we have rows, and we have cells. You can add any kind of content there. So these are very important later for our JavaScript also. In JavaScript, we will learn how to design dynamic tables. So in future, when you are working with backend technologies, you can link this table to a backend API, which can bring the data and show the data. So example, I will copy this. This example I will give. Let me copy this example. This is a simple basic example of table. But table have lot of attributes. You saw all table elements. Table have lot of attributes. So it is having so many attributes. If you can perfectly use these attributes, then table can be more better in appearance. What are the table attributes we are having? Let's see the basic table attributes that we have. First, I will remove the attributes that I given already. So I will just give width as 100%. Others I will remove, so that you can see this is the table we are having. So as of now, I am using just width for table, but table have so many attributes. What are those attributes? Let's see. In the table attributes, first, it provides frame, rules, and border. Every table have frame, rules, and border. Table have frame, rules, and border. Actually, frame, it is defined for table with values. It have values called box, RHS, LHS, above, below, and void. These are the attributes. These are the values for frame. So frame can have these values. These are the values for frame. So frame is defined for table. It can have values like box, RHS, LHS, right hand side, left hand side, above, below, and void. Actually, you see now, I am going to the table design. In the table design, I am adding frame. Frame value can be box. Box means, you see, if box will come like this. Frame is defined for entire table. Entire table have a frame. Remember, frame is only for table, not for rows and columns. It is only for table. And it have attributes. Box, we can have RHS. RHS means right hand side. You can see there is a right hand side line. You can have like LHS. LHS is left hand side. We can have like above. Above means it will display top. We can have like below, and below is like bottom. And you can have like box, all directions will come. You can have an option called void. Void means no frame. Now the doubt here is, if you don't write frame, frame will not come. Why to write frame and give void? So frame have a void option. If I don't write frame for table, there will be no frame. Why you are writing frame and giving void? What is the necessity of void for frame? Void means there is no frame. If I remove frame, there will be no frame. Na? Why to write void with frame? What do you think? We are not writing frame, then frame will not come. Why you are writing frame and giving void for that? That is because sometimes in HTML, some elements are added without you manually mentioned it. For example, you remembered you used underline. For hyperlink, have you given underline? No, but every hyperlink by default have an underline. In that case, we have to remove the underline. That means we are not giving, it automatically comes. Suppose you remembered heading have bold. Have we given bold? But we learned how to remove bold now. That means the point is, in some situations, table have a frame without writing a frame. That means even we don't write frame, it is having a frame. Then how to remove? Then we have to write the frame attribute with an option called void. Then it will remove the frame that you haven't mentioned at all. So that is the intention actually. So frame is for enter. You cannot have multiple values. That means above, below frame you want, left, right frame you want. You can't have like that. Every attribute can take only one value. If you want left, right, you want top, bottom, then you have to go with CSS. In HTML, every attribute can take only one value. So you cannot have multiple, like, so you cannot have like RHS, LHS. That means right hand side, left hand side, you can't. There can be only one value. So only one value you can define there. So this is frame. So frame is defined for table. So syntactically, we write table frame is equal to box or void or RHS or LHS or above or below. That's how we define a frame. It is defined for table. Table can have a frame. Next, table have another option. Table can have rules. So the rules are defined for rows and columns. The rules are defined for rows and columns. So the values for rules are, we have values for rules as all. Rules can be rows, rules can be calls, rules can be groups, and rules can be none. These are the values you can give. So frame is for entire table and rules are for rows, columns and groups. So rules are defined for rows, columns and groups. You can give these values. For example, you see now here I am adding one more attribute, rules. Rules equal to, I am giving rows. Then you can see only for rows it will come. Only for rows the rules will come. I am giving rules for calls, then it will get only for columns. We want both rows and columns, then we give as what? All. All will get both rows and columns. And see now, I remove the frame now, void. That means frame is not there. That means we have only rules. The frame is box, then you can see the frame with rules. Actually, rules have one more option, that is for groups. How many groups are there in table? 4 groups are there. Head, body, footer, and call group also there. We written a call group also. Na? That means it is also a group. Now you can see the groups correctly. That means it will have rules only for groups. Head section, body section, footer, and column group. And see now column group is 3. Suppose I will change column group span as 2. Then it will be like this. The column group span as 1. Then it will be in this way. We can define the group how it should be. So 3. Then it will be defined in this way. So column groups you can see once you try these kind of attributes. You want to remove frame, you can remove the frame. Frame as what? Void. Then this is how we do. So what is difference between frame and rules? Frame is for table and rules are for rows, columns, and groups, right? So syntactically, how you define? So syntactically, we configure like this. We have a table, frame is box, rules is equal to all or none or rows or calls or groups. These are the values you can define. So table is having frame, table is having rules. Table have one more attribute, that means you can have a border also. Border is nothing but it is defined for cells in table. It is defined for cells in table. So it uses 2 values. What are those 2 values? 0 is equal to no border and 1 is equal to border. Actually 0 means false and 1 means true. So border is not size. Border is whether you want or not. It is not size. Generally, when you are defining border, you have size. Border size 2 pixel, 4 pixel, 5 pixel. Here border is not size. Border have only 2 values. You want border, then 1. You don't want border, 0. Actually, anything positive after 0 is considered as true. Even you give 2, 3, 4, 5, any number, the border is true. It's not size. For example, see now, border is for cells. Observe carefully. Here, I am removing this. Currently, table is like this. For table, I am giving border as 1. And you see table border is like this. Now you may feel like it is having border for entire table. No, it is having only for cells. But you see, by default a frame came. By default a frame came. Then we need to remove that frame. How to remove the frame? Frame is equal to void. And you can see that now frame is removed. Now you see borders correctly. So border is not for table. Border is for cells. That means every cell have some border. Every cell have a border. Once you have frame, it looks like it is for entire table. But you see now, border I am giving 0. Means there is no border. Border I am giving 10. Then you will see same. There is no change. That means Border is not size. Border is only true or false. That means 0 is considered as no border. Yeah, 0 is considered as no border and 1 is considered as border. And you can see this is the border for cells. Every cell have a border. You can add frame. That means frame is actually void. You can add frame as what? Box. And by default frame will come. You don't want the frame, then you can set it to void. Then you will see there is no frame for that. So here one more point is there. When you are using border will not work for table if there are rules defined. Make sure that you remove the rules and try border. Border will not work if rules are defined. This is a very important note. So the basic syntax, we have table, frame is equal to void, and border is equal to 1. A simple note here is table cannot define borders. Border if rules are configured. If rules are configured, you have to remove rules attribute from table in order to set border. You have to remove rules attribute in order to set border. Remember, rules have an option called none. If you set rules none, then there will be no rules. But that will not work for border. If you want border, then make sure that you remove rules attribute from table. You should not write rules at all. Then border will not work. Suppose you see here, we are having border and we are writing here border and frame and rules. Rules is equal to all. Then you will see rules will dominate here. Rules will dominate. Suppose even you set rules as none. Now border will not display. Border will not display. To display border, rules must be completely removed. This attribute must be deleted. Then only border can work. If rules attribute is mentioned, you can never see border because rules will always dominate the border. Even you set it to none, border cannot display. You have to remove it. That is the important note you need to know. So these are the basic attributes. That means here table, rules is equal to none, border is equal to 1. This is invalid. You have to completely remove the rules and put only border is equal to 1. This is valid. So how do we configure the rules? This is first option. That means we can have simply the options. 3 options are there, 3 attributes are there. So one is frame, rules and border. Next important in the table attributes, we have cell spacing and cell padding. Cell spacing, it sets space between cells in table. And cell padding, you know, it sets space between content and border, content and cell border. So cell spacing and cell padding also table attributes. Table have a lot of attributes. So I am categorizing them level by level. So we have first table with frame rules and all, border, second cell spacing, cell padding. You just define table, cell spacing is equal to 10, cell padding is equal to some 5. That's how we do. And you can clearly see when you set border and better you say frame as void, then you can see it more clearly. The space between the cells and space between the content and cell border. Padding, you already know what happens. Cell spacing and cell padding also important attribute for table. So generally, let's see how they work for table. So we will go into this concept. This is the actual table original size. This is original size of table. Now in table, so here we are adding cell spacing is equal to some 20. You can see some space between cells. Some space between cells will be there. We will give cell padding. Cell padding is equal to 5. Some gap between the cell and the content. So you can have some space between cells and space between the content and the border. That is very simple. You can just use cell padding and cell. Next important, we have BG color and background. You know this now? So BG color, so it sets background color. Background color for table, group, row, and cell. Table, group, row, and cell. Everywhere it will give. We can put a background color for table. If you want to put a background picture, we can use background. It sets background image for table or group or row or cell. At any level you can give. If you define for table, it will apply for entire table. You define for group, it will apply for group. You define for cell, it will apply only for that cell. So individually you can give to specific cell. You can add it for entire row or for all rows in a group or complete table. Anywhere you can apply, at any level you can apply. And you know, already we learned this in body. Body also have same options, BG color and background. So let's see, suppose at the table level, I am using BG color is equal to some yellow, and you can see it will apply to entire table. Suppose I am removing from here, I am keeping in head section, it will apply only for head section. I will remove from the head section, that means I am removing from head section and I am keeping in the second row, and it will apply only for that row. I am removing from that row and I am keeping in only one cell. Only that cell will have background color. That means you can apply at any level. You can apply for a table, you can apply for a group, you can apply for a row, or you can apply for cell. Similarly, we have background image. We know already background image also. But remember, already we learned for body, we can put a background image, but we cannot control it. To control again, you need to write styles. That means we are using background image. Background is equal to, in images, I have some image, some a1.jpg. And you can see the background, some image will come. That is the background image we are having. and background image is tiled. You know how to control it, right? We have A1, we have A2, so many different images are there. We know how do we control that. How do we control that? We have to write style. In style, for which one background we need to control? Table. For table, what should be? Background size. Background size as what? Cover. Then it will fit that background like this. You know already, repeat, height, width. We need to adjust everything. So that depends on how much size of table you are having, what is the size of image you are having. You know how do we control entire. We can apply at any level. I applied for table. Actually, I can remove from here and I can put in T head. Only in T head it will apply that. But cells are not enough for showing such one, because this time here I have to use what? T head, because I applied T head, and you can see now here it is not suitable because it is a large image. Cell height is not suitable. Then we can use background size now. We can use background what? Size. Background size, suppose 10 pixel and 10 pixel. That means it is very small. You can see. I will give some 50 pixel and 50 pixel, and you can see the size will adjust. We can keep depending on height and width of the table cell. You can apply at any level. Either you can use for a table or a group or a row or a cell. So syntactically this is same. Here we have table, BG color is some color, or table background is equal to some images we are defining. We can add for T head, so BG color, or we can give TD, TR, BG color, or we can even give TD, BG color like this. At different levels we can apply. Same for image also. Image also we can define same. So table have rules, border, frame, cell spacing, cell padding, BG color, and background. So I just categorized it, but here there are more than several attributes here now. Next important in the table attributes, we are having the table with width and height. Width and height. Generally width and height we know, but here one point you need to understand. Table cannot be structureless. Table is always structured. That means if one cell in a column you adjusted width, then it will affect all cells in that column. If one cell in a row you adjusted its height, then it will affect all cells in that row. You cannot have like one cell height more, another cell height less. For that you need to implement other techniques. Table is completely structured. Structured means it can have all cells same height in a row. It can have all cells same width in a column. You cannot have uneven. That means you cannot have like one cell like this, another cell like this, and another cell like this. You cannot have such columns. You cannot have such columns. If you adjust width for one cell in a column, all will be same. That means all the cells in that column will be same. They cannot be uneven. Similarly, height also. One cell height like this, another cell height like this, another cell height like this. It cannot be like this. All cells will have same height in a row. We can adjust width and height, but it is uniform. That means, for example, see now, how do we define the width and height? So actually, what is the point you need to know? Width, it is defined for table, TH and TD. Only for these we define width. Height, it is defined for table and TR and TD or TH. It is defined. But what is the correct recommendation? Correct recommendation is when you want to adjust the width of any column. So here some rules you have to follow. Always define width to TH or TD. So at the topmost level, that is the first rule you need to remember. Always define width, that is actually width. Okay. So always define height. Define height to TR. So TR in any group you have to define. Actually, height you can write for TD and TH also, but we don't recommend. We don't recommend to write. It will work, but it will be not reasonable, because even you write for one cell, it is going to apply to entire row. Then better always write in a row only, because it is going to affect all cells in the row. You write in row. That's the point. Let's see. Width and height same. See, I'm just going here. Let's remove the image and all. Yeah. Suppose I want to adjust the width of name. This name column width I need short. Then where to write width? This name column, entire name column width should adjust. Then where to write width? We have to write width in the TH of name. That is the topmost level. Na? Topmost level is TH. In TH we have a T head, we have a TH. You see? So if you want to adjust for the name, the topmost level is T head. In T head, TR, in the TH. Here you define width. Width is equal to 100 pixel. It is going to adjust the width like this. The width of that column is adjusted. We can adjust the width of that. Remember, you can write width anywhere in this. You write in Realme cell or baby product cell anywhere. It is going to affect entire column. Then better always give to the topmost, right? That is important. Another point is if you want to adjust the row height, always give in the row. That means in the row, you need to mention what height. Height I given 100, then you can see the row height increases. That means the first row height is more than the second. So you can adjust the row height. Suppose 150, it is adjusting the row height. So remember, actually height, I can adjust in any cell. You can see here in the available cell. In the available cell, I am giving height. It is going to affect all of them. Right? But that looks uneven, because even for later editing, it will be not good. So better always keep like this. So as per the tradition, you define this way. So width and height, you can give like this. Syntactically, you can write for TH, width is 100. You can write TR, height is equal to some 150 like this. This is the best way. To define width and height, always give to TH or TD, and height you defined for TR. This is the table width and height. Next table have align and V align. Align and V align is nothing but align. It aligns the content in cell left, center, right, or justify. V align is nothing but it aligns the content in cell vertically, top, center, or bottom. Left, center, right, or vertically top, center, bottom. That is the alignment. And important, you can define for row. Syntactically, suppose TR align is equal to center and V align is equal to center. We can write like this. Or we can write for a cell. Align is equal to right. V align is equal to bottom. Like this we can add. Alignment horizontal and alignment vertical. So that is align and V align. You need to manage the alignments and vertical alignments in this way. So let's see. Align is this way. I will go to the cell. You can see in the table, this price I want right side. Only in that cell right side. If I give in the row as align as right, it will apply to all cells in the row. So we don't want all cells in the row. It should be only for the price cell. Then only price cell will adjust like this. Remember, you cannot apply for entire column. Individually, every cell you have to give. That means again align right. I am copying that and keeping to this cell. Then this also will be right. Vertically, you can see vertically it is center first row. So we will give what V align. V align is what? Top. That means vertical align top. Vertical align what? Center. It will keep center. And vertical align we can keep it as bottom. It will be like this. And we can give center and align is also center. Horizontally, vertically it will be center. But this is right because independently you written right. Others are horizontally center, vertically center. That is just a simple alignment option we have. So horizontal align and vertical. Now another very major, this is call span and row span. Call span and row span. These are all table attributes. Table have lot of concepts because this is the major one for presentation of data. Call span, row span is nothing but call span. It can merge multiple columns into one cell. And row span, it can merge multiple rows into one cell. You can merge multiple rows and columns into one, multiple cells into one. So that is row span and col span. And important, so note is it can be defined only for TH or TD. You cannot define anywhere else. Row span, col span can be defined only for TH and TD. You cannot define anywhere else. So for this, we will take a table. This is example 1. This is a general table. So without row and col span, right? Without row and col span, this is just the table we created. I will copy this code. So here, this is the table we designed without row and col span. We will create a table where we need row and column span. Let's see how it works. For that, let's add another table. So I'm adding one more file here. And this is table1.html. Okay, in this table, let's create a basic empty table. And width for table is 100%. Table have a border as 1. And table is having T head in that row, in that cell TH. We have name and we have address. After that, in header, another row. This is like first name and last name. So we have table header last name and another header city and header state and a header as postal code. Actually, in the first row, 2 columns are there. In second row, 5 columns are there. Then it looks uneven here. You can see it is going to display like this now. That is the name and address we are having. First row have 2 columns, second row is having 5. Now, what we will do is, below that T body, we will put a row in that cell, ampersand NBSP semicolon. I will copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are 5 cells we are having. Like this, I will copy some rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. You have empty rows like this. I just created an empty table. And we have a T foot in that TR. In that we have only one cell. And ampersand copy, some copyright 2023. And you can see in the footer, there is only one cell. Now, what is the concept is simple. Actually, I want this name heading for first name and last name. That means this cell should merge how many columns? 2. So let's go to that cell. This is name cell. It should merge col span 2. That's it. It will merge 2. And similarly, address should merge for 3. So for address, we use col span. How many? 3. It will merge for 3. That's a simple concept. And in the footer, let's go to the footer. In the footer, this cell should merge how many? Col span. It should merge how many? 5. And align, I will give it to center. because it's an ordinary cell. Then it will merge the 5 columns and center. That is merging of columns. Suppose I want to merge all these rows into one, because for all of them city is one. Now important, if you are merging the first cell up to last, then what happens to existing cells here? These existing cells will shift right. So that means all the cells will be merged. Then these existing cells will move right. That means now what I want here, observe carefully from which cell we need to merge, identify its location. It is row number 1, column number 3. Row number 1, column number 3 in table body. Na? This is table header. First two are table header. This is table body and this is table footer. You need to identify the cell first. Where is the city starting cell? It is table body, first row, third cell. Let's go. In the table body, this is the first row, third cell is this. Now this third cell is going to merge all the cells at third place. In that case, all the cells in third place must be removed. Otherwise, they will shift right side. That means what we will do? Third cell, we will remove everywhere. That means in every row, third cell is removed. Anything you can remove because currently we don't have data. In every row, the third cell is removed. And this cell, that means we are having the first row, third cell, this should row span. How many rows it should merge? How many rows we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 rows, including the first row. That means it is going to merge all of them. That's how we merge the rows and columns. If I haven't deleted extra cell from the cells below, see what will happen. Suppose I am adding one more cell here. I am not deleting the extra cell. Then you can see one cell comes right side. That means you can see one cell is extra right side. That means you have to delete the extra cells in others. Then it is fine. That means now it looks okay. You can merge in any direction. That means either row or in a column. And here temporarily see in that cell, I am keeping some text. I will keep just here as D, BR, E, BR, L, BR, H, BR and I. And you can see this cell have, actually with CSS, we can change orientation later. We have align is what? Center. Center, align, and V align is also center. And you can see horizontal center alignment will be in this. We have some content displaying in that cell. You can merge columns and you can merge rows. And remember, when you are doing this merging of rows and columns, never keep the data and merge. First, create an empty skeleton for that, means empty layout, merge everything, then put your data. Because if you put data and start merging, it will scatter. So that means it is very difficult to handle a table with data and merging. So better create an empty layout, merge, and then you can keep the data. This is the example for row and column span. Actually, here the syntax will be either th call span as some 3, or we say td row span is some 6, something like this. The row and column merge. How we can merge the rows and columns. Now, this is example. I will give one example for that. That is the example for table. These are all the concept about table. So let's take a summary of all the attributes you have learned about table. So many attributes you have learned. Table have what? Frame. Table is having rules. Table is having border. It is having cell spacing and cell padding. Another one, it is having width, it is having height, and it is having BG color and background, and it is having align and V align, and it is having call span and row span. So many attributes you learned. These are all the set of attributes a table is having to keep the table correct. Now we will see some example with the table. How these tables are used in real world to create some examples that we'll see tomorrow. And from tomorrow for a few days, you don't miss the session, because tomorrow we are going to start a concept called forms. And that is why you are here. Means Java people, .NET people are sent to HTML to learn perfectly about working with forms. So you should be very perfect. You cannot miss the topic. If you miss, then you cannot handle JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, React, anything. Forms is very important. So tomorrow we'll start with that. Okay, right.